Give me a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper, and make it quick. I'm in a hurry. How's that for a mic check, son? I'm not saying that's the greatest movie of all time, but I'm saying it's one of them. And if you know, you know. How's everybody doing? Hopefully, we're 5x5. I've been trying to do different kinds of mic checks and things like that rather than just getting on here and looking like some, boring cat from Tennessee. And I'll get a 5x5. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, y'all know what movie that's from. My goodness, if you don't, ask somebody. Classic. Burt Reynolds. Of course, that wasn't one of his lines. I think that was Buford's, but still. How's everybody doing this Friday? Um, Thank you, Daniel, for the 5x5 and Lynn C. We're going to have fun today. We're going to have fun. It's an interesting conversation. There's a lot of prepping involved, but we're going to make it interesting. Coffee first, then speak. Thank you. And also, thank you for making sure that they are in all chat and not top chat. I've been noticing that. Usual suspects, welcome back. Again, we're going to have some fun. If you are one of the newbies looking in, you don't have to peek in, son. Just come on in and join everybody. Find you a beanbag, sit down. You know what America has? And guys, y'all know it's true. Y'all know it's true. America has a commitment problem, especially you guys. I seen you in here talking them up for us. By the way, America has a commitment problem. And let me give you an example. So you find this fine honey. I mean, she's beautiful, right? She talks like you talk. She can hunt. She can fish. She likes to cook. She likes to sit down and watch World War II documentaries and Gunsmoke with you, son. And all this craziness, right? I mean, she's just perfect. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes time for a commitment, and she's ready for you to put a ring on that thing, put a ring on the finger, the guys always go out for the gallon of milk and they never come back. And I don't understand it. What am I talking about? Barrett Foley, how are you doing? What am I talking about this morning? That's something to do with YouTube, I promise. We have, Master Blaster says, I want one. We have a commitment problem, apparently, here at Prepper Nation. Take a guess. Throw it in the comments if you're not scared of Google and if Mr. Tunstall's taught y'all how to read by now. Throw it in the comments. What do you think the number one comment that I see on this channel is? The number one comment. Number two is, hey, son, stop using sun, son, or something to that effect. Possibly Devil's Ardent Prepping. I would have to go back and look through the comments. Just drop it in there if you don't mind. Grow food, actually, no, Milton Roots. I mean, from you, it's definitely the number one comment. Shenanigans, how you doing? Michael and S, how are you? The number one comment I see here is from the replay crowd. And they said, I missed the live stream. I had no idea you were live streaming. I'm sorry. I didn't get a notification. Sorry about that. I'm watching the replay. And the reason they don't get a notification is because people that are watching it live can't. I'm not asking you to put a ring on it, son. I'm not asking for the best years of your life or 50% of all your belongings. I'm asking you to take a half a second and hit thumbs up. Because every time you hit thumbs up, somebody that is actually looking for a live stream on this channel finds it. And they get to join us. And it's crazy. They just want to come to the wedding. That's all. That's all, son. So anyway, we're going to talk about actual important stuff today as well. And if you've hit thumbs up, thank you. And thank you for the next person that finds the thing. Shelly69, what a number. How are you? So again, this came from a member member had suggested that we do this topic, and it's a fantastic topic. The Shady Zone says, I seldom get notifications. So if you've clicked notifications and the bell is on and everything, that's how YouTube works, unfortunately. If a video doesn't have many thumbs up, YouTube's like, well, people don't want to see this, even if they're subscribed, so they don't notify people. But people are interested, you know what I mean? And they are subscribed and they have hit the bell and they still don't get a notification. And then the replay crowd is like, that live crowd done us dirty, son, is what happened. J954, first of all, yes, we are live. You always ask that question. Second of all, hit thumbs up like Willie Brown hit Miss Harris. Oh, it's too early. It's too early. So, for those that don't know, and I'm not trying to beat you over the head with it or pitch it, as a matter of fact, the next time we do a live stream, I will give away some free memberships. But once a month, we have a members only day where we have 2 ad-free live streams. And I usually ask the folks that are there, hey, what topics do you want to cover in the upcoming weeks? And I make a list, and I have a list right here on the desk. And so this was one of the topics. It's a really good one. How can we work on home defense? And then somebody yesterday made the comment, they were on Social Security, they're on a fixed income. Can you please go over the inexpensive options or the less expensive options as well? So we're going to do all of that. And I appreciate that, Shady. What in the world? Hit it like she hit that devil's lettuce. You think she hit that devil's lettuce, Shady? We talking about Kamala? So we're going to be going over home defense extensively. Okay. And I can't cover it all because I don't know it all. I'm gonna go over the stuff that I think is important and what we do here at the Ponderosa. Again, if you're not scared of Google, a live crowd or replay crowd, you may leave a comment and you may add to the conversation, tips and tricks to help fortify the home, so on and so forth. All right. But again, we're going to try and have fun with it. So down in the video description below, there is a link that you can click at any time after this live stream is over, right? And it's going to take you to a demonstration by a company called On Guard. They make door barricade systems for doors that swing in, swing out, and slide. Okay. There are other companies as well. The other popular company is called Nightlock. I'm familiar with these two. There are a lot of other companies, but I'm specifically familiar with these two. And the demo video shows you how easy it is to install one of these things, or to engage it, I should say, because they're 2 pieces. And I've actually brought one piece with me. Almost hit myself in the head, son. And I'm going to explain to you how to engage the Nightlock system. And then we'll go over a very, 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 very cheap alternative to both of these. Okay, so the On Guard system is about yay thick. I mean, it's pretty thick. It's thick, son. Its hair's thick. You know what I'm saying, Forrest? And it has 2 dragon's teeth. I call them dragon's teeth at the bottom. All right. That is piece number 1. It's got a handle on top. Piece number 2 is a floor plate that is about, I don't know, about 3 beaver hairs deep. 3 screws. It goes into the floor. Once you've got the thing in with the 3 screws at the floor plate, door still opens and closes like normal, okay? But at night, or something, is going down and you need to immediately barricade the door, you grab the second piece by the handle, dragon's teeth go into the holes that are on the floor plate. This door is not coming down. And again, I've attached a link to a video. The wall around the door jamb will literally start to break before the door comes down. All right, they are expensive. The On Guard system is going to run you, I think, about $110 per door. All right. So I don't know how many doors you have on the home or whatever the case may be. Some people got mansions. You know, I don't, unfortunately. I don't really want one though. The night lock system works in much the same way. It engages differently because of trademarks and stuff like this, but they're both the same concept. The night lock system is about $40 per door. Again, two pieces. One piece, unfortunately, I can't bring and show you because they are screwed down to the floor on the doors, right? But it's a floor plate, 3 screws. Door opens over top of the floor plate once you've got it in there, no problem. The second piece looks like this right here. See how it's curved and all this stuff right here? I've had mine for a hot minute. We got a few, you know what I'm saying? But they even have arrows right here showing you. So in order to engage the night lock system, rather than having dragon's teeth, there's a channel in the back of the floor plate that goes up against the door. You take the rounded part down here and it just slides through the channel. And now you have a huge flat metal piece up against the door. Both of these have the same concept. All right. They are basically deadbolts that use the floor rather than the door jamb. The night locks will eventually come down because they're not as thick as the on guard. I mean, you get what you pay for, but again, you're going to have 8 minutes, 12 minutes, as I've said here before on the channel. Once this thing's engaged, if the flip flop mafia is trying to kick the door in, you literally have time to go lay a shotgun on the couch, get you a couple nines, get you some extra magazines, go make you a pot of coffee, pour you a hot cup, make sure the lights are out, make sure the shotty's got the flashlight on ready to go, the O light or whatever it may be, and then you're having a party. And then you're having a party. You must be, because the first 25 coming through that door hitting the floor, son. You know what I'm saying? J954. Nightlock is super legit, but down here in Florida, it's useless because all of our doors swing out due to hurricane force winds. I'm not sure about Nightlock, but I do know that On Guard has a system. I'm not sure. I don't have one myself, so I don't know how it engages. There may be more than 2 pieces, but they do sell systems that engage with doors that swing out and everything. Okay. Thank you. I didn't know that about Florida. Actually, that makes a lot of sense though. Makes a lot of sense. So that's your doors. All right. Again, there are barricades where somebody is just saying metal bars and stuff that go under the door handle. I mean, you can barricade these things. There are many different ways to do it, but those two are very simple installs. I mean, literally 10 minutes. You sit down, you line up where you want the floor plate, you get the electric drill out. I highly suggest an electric drill because the screws are pretty long. Boom, boom, boom. And that's it. We're going to get to windows, Siennas. That's a great question. The very, 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 very cheap way to mimic a night lock or an on-guard system. All right, and this is not going to work for doors that swing out. I'm talking about doors that are coming in, okay? Is if you have a table saw or a skill saw or something like this, get you a 2x4, cut you off a length of about 6 or 8 inches, and have it on standby. This is not something you want to engage all the time, right? Because you're going to have to pry it back up, get you 3 nails. Nails go in usually a lot quicker than screws when it's hitting the fan. So if you know for a fact people are going through the neighborhood, the flip-flop mafia, they're kicking everybody's door in, one after another, and you don't have the money, or you don't want to spend the money on an on guard. They're convenient because 2 seconds, my kids can get these things in and out, right? The 2x4, you can get it in fast. Hammer 3 nails in, 3 decent sized nails. The door's not coming down. It's going to be a booger to get up. You're going to have to pry it up. You know what I'm saying? So this would be an option. I think if you had a lot of doors, you're under a state of martial law. There's looting going on all over the place. Let's say you got 6 doors on the bottom level because you're crazy, right? You get the 2x4 deal, you get these things pre-cut and ready to go, you can secure 5 doors and you know they're not coming down. And then you can focus on one door that opens and closes, this sort of thing. Don Smith, how are you doing? I appreciate the comment, the literal comment. So again, the video for the On Guard is down below. The night lock system works very similarly, and you can see how they hold up in real time. Okay. Um, Getting to windows. There are different ways to do it. I've written down 2 ways, 2 preferred methods depending on where you were at. What about a sliding patio door? Again, On Guard, I know for a fact, makes a device that will deal with sliding glass. Nightlock, I'm not sure, but you can check into Nightlock. If they do, it will be cheaper. The first method that I've heard a lot, it's not the method I'd use, but it makes sense to me. Hurricane shutters, right? Basically, I mean, they come in all shapes and sizes and varieties. You can get them that they roll down. If you've seen Fear the Walking Dead, or if you've been to California recently, right, you'll see these businesses that have these roll down steel looking doors that they cover the windows up with. These, all right. You can get them where they look fancy and stuff like this. A lot of people in hurricane areas have these. Hurricane shutters are going to cost you, depending on what company you go with, how fancy you want them to look. Me, I'm a little on the cheaper side on this. So for the people that are on a fixed income, especially right now, because right now is the time to go get this stuff. If you have a Rural King, Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever you prefer. Thorny bushes. Yeah, the Purge is also a great example, Cottage Farm, of these things. Thorny bushes. Right now is a perfect time to go and get rose bushes. Now, these things look horrible. They're sitting outside there on clearance for like $5 or something like that. I mean, these things look pitiful. They are mutts right now, and they look like they are dead to the world. But I'm telling you, you take these things, you get them home, you get them in the ground, you can't kill them. Next spring, these things are popping up everywhere. You put these in front of or below your windows. The flip-flop mafia is not very intelligent, but even they know when they are going through thorns. You know what I'm saying? They're going to look for other ways. They're going to try and skip the windows entirely. I mean, I guess you could defeat them with heads clippers and stuff like this, but normally when they go in and they steal and they loot, they're not looking for heads clippers. You know, they're looking for Jordans, they're looking for whatever, Rolex watches and stuff like this. None of the stuff that they actually loot is going to help them defeat thorny bushes in front of the windows. And again, there's all kinds of other ways people are putting in chat, and I appreciate that. Next, my fine beaver friends, we're going to be talking about. Now, this term has many, many different names. Some people call it a safe room. I guess it depends on how much money you have, actually. Some people call it a panic room. I actually call it a castle keep because I like history. And a lot of your castles, most of them had a keep, which was a reinforced room inside of the castle. And so when stuff was going down, let's say, let me give you the concept, okay? Let's say you were trained well with firearms, but you got a wife that you adore, and you committed, by the way, congratulations, and you got a couple of small kids. Kathleen, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. And you don't want them in harm's way. You can hear the flip-flop mafia trying to defeat the nightlock. You know you're going to have to make a pot of coffee and start lining magazines up and getting ready, okay? But you don't want your family out there, in the way. You don't want them to accidentally get hit or something like this. So you have a castle keep. So what they would do back in the day is they would take the royal family, people they did not want to be involved in the conflict whatsoever. They would put them in the castle keep. Okay. Um, a lot of times now people call these safe rooms or panic rooms. Oh my God, there's an intruder in the house. I'll give you a perfect example if you've ever seen 13 Hours in Benghazi. All right. The ambassador had a safe room or a panic room. He didn't have much security. Thank you for that, Hillary Clinton, by the way. But he did have, Handy Prepper, how are you doing, ma'am? He did have a safe room, right? It was defeated in the movie, obviously, but the concept is the same. You get this person in this room, or these people, these important people in this room. Now, depending on who you talk to, some people are going to tell you that you want a window on this room. Some people are going to say you want this room to be windowless. If you have 2 stories, it gets complicated. Some people want it upstairs. Some people continue to want it downstairs. The main thing with a safe room that I would highly, highly suggest is that not only is it a safe room, but that it has everything that you need long term. Okay, because this may become for you a fallback point, right? A lot of times, getting back into the castle keep, a lot of times when the soldiers were being defeated, they had to fall back to the keep, right? And they had to reinforce and get ready. So this may be a room where you keep a gun cabinet, for example. And you've got plenty of survival food or MREs. You've got water. You've got means of communication in this room, stuff like this, just to be prepared. Okay. And again, you don't have to be rich to have one of these rooms. You just have to identify a room. Even FEMA will tell you, I guess they still teach us, I don't know, you know, for like a hurricane or something like this, find a central room where there's not a window. This is going to be the best room for you to ride it out, so to speak. Same concept, except with a safe room or a panic room, you're worried about people being in your home trying to do you harm. All right. So reinforce this room. And I'll just throw this in there as well. I didn't write it down. Some people look to an attached garage, believe it or not. If you have an attached garage, you can use it as a safe room. And I've actually talked to people that have sandbagged the outer wall, like on the inside of the garage, because it makes it virtually bulletproof at that point. Small arms fire, I'm talking. You know, if the flip flop mafia's got 50 cows, you might be out of luck on that one. But sandbags are extremely cheap. And you can reinforce the inside of this garage like this and basically turn it into a safe room. And there's only one entry point, at that point in time, and you're weaponed up and ready to go. So for those that have an attached garage, that's an option. What if they burn the house down? Then your scope was not dialed in well enough. That would be my answer. I mean, that's a good question. Life goes on, and it's a popular tactic for these commies. You know, these people out here with rainbow colored hair and Yale degrees with Palestinian flags covering their face. They like to burn stuff, but they got to be extremely close in order to use that method. So if you have a decent scope, some night vision, as Dirt Track is saying, you can minimize that threat way before it gets to your front door. You know what I mean? Um, as long as you know the threat is there. Next, and this is going to help with that actually. um, great, and I underlined it. Great exterior lighting, floodlights, solar floodlights. Great exterior lighting. So I knew that the crime rate was lower on properties, substantially lower on well-lit properties, but I didn't know how much, so I had to go in. I was Googling around, son. 60% drop off in crime. So home invasions, for example, If you have a well-lit, American-made, no Temu stuff, Oki Khan is saying, American-made, preferably, very dependable exterior lighting at nighttime, there is a 60% chance that home invaders are going to skip your house and go to a house that is not well lit. Now, again, I mean, there may be a reason they've targeted your house specifically, and we'll get there when we get there. Evil hates light. There you go. Shade Iron says. Not only is it going to deter people from trying to do you harm, but also, again, especially if you have an upstairs and people are trying to kick your door in and it's well lit outside, and you do have a scope dialed in, well, it is what it is at that point. Make sure that you check with local laws and everything. Make sure you've got posted no trespassing and all this stuff, and then you got to do what you got to do at that point. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But this is one of the cheaper options that you can do that is really going to help you out with home security, because again, there's a 60% chance these bad guys are just going to skip your house. Now, during a time of martial law or something like that, Hurricane Katrina, that probably doesn't apply. But day to day, normally, make sure everything is well lit. Now, I threw this one in there. Share Bears taking the dog out. I can relate. These dogs, I'm telling you. This is the counter argument that I've heard. Okay. And I agree with this as well. I don't know where I stand with this one. Wing It with Ethan says exterior lighting will only attract attention in SHTF. Now, here's my take on it. I think, because again, I'm not 100% sure where I stand on that one, but I think if I'm in rural America, I'm okay with exterior lighting. I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? I think if I'm in a city and total chaos is going on, like when Chaz and Chop was being taken over these several blocks, and everything is blacked out, I don't think I want to be the apartment that has the lighting, that has the emergency lighting or candles going on or whatever the case. I think if I'm in a city, I'm using contractor bags to cover the windows because I want to be totally gray. But in rural America, I'm still going to be using exterior lighting, even during total SHTF, because I think that it makes the bad guys think twice. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion, though. J954, thank you. Something I'd like to address. Not trying to be alone during the collapse. Everyone has to sleep at some point. Now there's no one to look out. Not good. That's an excellent point. Good morning, Dynamite. That's an excellent point. And it's something that needs to be worked out now prior to. You know what I mean? You need to have at least one. I agree with you. Have one person that you can totally trust to go to sleep. Make sure that everything is locked down tight, and then you can run shifts, and it's pretty easy. I think if you're going to lone wolf it, can be done at home. Okay. If you've got the doors barricaded properly and you've got everything set up the way it needs to be set up. Lone wolfing it out in the wild, so to speak, not going to last very long. That's just my 2 cents on it. Lone wolfing it at home, it can be done. You can sleep, but you better sleep with one eye open. All right, so again, I included this. It doesn't really have to do with the home, and I'm going to catch a little bit of heat for this, but I need to mention it. I always try to mention it, okay? Vehicle, because you always need a plan B. You can defend the home, again, from the flip-flop mafia. Again, you stacking them up like cordwood as they come in through the front door. That's one thing. But if we're talking about elite Russian soldiers going through the neighborhood, you have to know that's not winnable. Like, it's an advantage as a prepper to know when something is not winnable. you're not defeating elite Russian soldiers. At least not for very long. All right, because once they figure out you're resisting, they're going to key in on the house and it's over. Okay, so your vehicle has to be option number 2. Has to be. I know people want to say I'm dying with the fort, I'm going down with the fort, but listen, that is just not that is not a good strategy. Preppers ought to know that you need a plan B, you need a plan C, you need a plan D on everything. Right? Vehicle. Try to, and I know the economy sucks right now. I get it, y'all. I know it sucks. But try to never let your vehicle get below a half a tank of gas. And that's minimum. Here, we try and keep it at 3/4 and up all the time. Okay? Because the last thing you want to do is rush out, get in a vehicle, try and take off, and the gas light's on. You know what I'm saying? There's just no reason for it. Again, I know gas is expensive, but you're going to have to buy it anyway. So you might as well have enough in your vehicle to get out if you need to get out. All right. In this vehicle, you need to have a bag of basic supplies and a gas can. Cogito, thank you. So even if it's a small one, you'd be surprised how many people don't have a bag with basic supplies or a gas can. Man, I know a lot of people that drive around, they don't have jump cables. They have a spare tire like underneath the vehicle, but they have nothing to change a tire with in their vehicle. It's crazy. Um, have a bag in a vehicle that, you know, that you can switch out periodically, beef jerky, trail mix, stuff like this, water, the essential stuff, maybe a tarp, something like this, gloves, right? And a first aid kit in your vehicle. The first aid kit does not have to be $600. All right. This can be a $30 first aid kit from Walmart. Something. Okay. And if you have to leave your home, no matter how large your family is, I would suggest having a plan to do it within 15 minutes. I think 15 minutes is the optimal time. Less than 15 minutes, and I'm talking about grabbing Bugout bags and grabbing the essentials. Less than 15 minutes, you're gonna forget stuff. I mean, it is what it is. Longer than 15 minutes, you start to run the risk of getting caught up, checkpoints, and things like that. All right, this is just my personal opinion. Bringing us, Gunslinger, what's going on? Bringing us to the next phase, if you have to leave, for example. Number 1, know your neighbors. This is free. People said, how can we fortify the home, help fortify the home on a budget? Get to know your neighbors. Your neighbors are a resource. As long as they're cool. Some people's neighbors suck. Mine's cool. We're extra sets of eyes for one another. You know what I'm saying? So we have neighbors up here, and if they're out of town and a vehicle pulls up to their house and somebody gets out, and you know what I'm saying? We can text them and we can say, hey, do you know anybody that drives this type vehicle here? You know, we're just keeping an eye on the place because they have their stuff well lit. We have our stuff well lit. They do the same thing for us. You know, if we're not at home and something looks a little shady, we'll get a text from them. You know what I'm saying? Neighbors watching out for one another. This is free. This is something that used to be commonplace, not so commonplace anymore. Lewis Taylor, yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people's neighbors suck. And there ain't a whole lot you can do about that part of it. Number 2, know multiple routes. Is it routes or routes? How do y'all say it? We say routes here to get away ASAP. So again, 15 minutes, you loaded car down, truck, van, whatever. Hummer H1. That would be the dream, right? That's my dream Bugout vehicle, by the way. You have to know multiple routes to get out. All right. I get some of y'all live, at the end of a gravel road or something like this. That's awesome. But once you hit the main road, again, if there's a boots on the ground invasion or your own military, Kamala Harris has put us under martial law. There are going to be checkpoints. So you have to know multiple ways to get around these things and get out of Dodge, so to speak. So paper maps are great, Lord Eagle. Thank you for bringing that up. But to me, paper maps are long term. Like I'm 40 miles from the house now. What are we doing? That sort of thing. When you're near your home, you really need to memorize the different ways to get around and stuff like that, in my opinion. So getting back to home defense for a second, and where are we going? Sienna's Big World says, LOL. Excellent question. It's something you need to have identified. Bugging out for some people is getting out into the woods. It's situational, okay? It is going to the woods, or maybe they have a cabin near a lake, or maybe they have family members who do something like this. For other people, it may just be getting out, getting 50 miles away from the town that you live in that's under duress and staying in a hotel overnight, right? Having identified a few decent hotels and keeping up with the news, listening to the news. If the threat continues to come your way, you go 50 more miles, this sort of thing. So getting back to home defense for a second, as a homeowner, you have a disadvantage. And as a homeowner, you have a huge advantage. All right. So the disadvantage is what's called initiative. I know most of y'all know what that means, initiative. So as a homeowner, no matter how well prepared you are, if somebody has targeted your house or cased the place, so to speak, you're not privy to that information. You don't know these people are planning to do what they're planning to do. They may be getting together in a room and saying, yeah, we're going to hit them at 2:00 in the morning. They have the initiative. They know they're coming at 2:00 in the morning. They know, hey, we're going to try and kick the front door in. So that's a disadvantage, okay, for the homeowner. The advantage for the homeowner, hopefully this is an advantage. If you're a prepper, look, let me just say this real quick, son. If you're a prepper and you get deliveries and stuff, 300 Warriors, what's up? How you doing? You get deliveries or you get stuff, workers coming into the home. Don't give them free run of the entire place. They're coming in to fix your sink as a plumber, great. Keep them confined to where exactly they need to be. Don't let them see everything you got. Don't show the goods without the commit. You know what I'm saying? Put a ring on it, son. We were talking about it earlier, but anyway, I digress. As the homeowner, you have the advantage of the layout. You know the layout of the home. So these people, they have the initiative. They're going to try and kick the front door in. Right? Good for them. If you've handled your business, you know the layout of the place. They don't. So they're flying blind once they get through that front door. I'm going to tell you all a little story about our living room. People think, I don't know if they think we're hoarders when it comes to furniture or if we just got a furniture fetish. But when they come over for the first time, our living room is set up very strange and there's almost nowhere to walk. Like we have huge sectional, we've got a very heavy recliner. We have a massage chair, which is extremely heavy. And then we have a TV entertainment center. This thing looks like Mount Everest, son. And the way it's set up, I mean, there's only a small pathway from the door through the living room. And people are like, oh, okay, this is cozy. But they don't understand that this furniture has been set up this way for a specific reason, right? If somebody defeats the the door system that we have in place, and again, I've brewed coffee, I've got it waiting, or tea, whatever's going on. I've got everything lined up on the couch, checking to make sure everything's good to go, all this stuff, clearing the chambers, getting ready, and they defeat it and they get through. You can, as a homeowner, literally dictate the path that these people have to take. And that's exactly what has been done in the living room, because that would be probably 90% chance the entry point to the home if somebody's trying to home invade, right? So you have set up what is called a kill box at this point. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide in this particular situation. You can drop down on the floor, you're still going to get hit. Direct line of sight. You can't, there's nothing to hide behind because it's been set up this way on purpose. You can't kick the furniture out of the way because it's too heavy on purpose. You have two options. Either get hit as you come through the door, or pray you don't get hit and go back out of the door. These are literally the two options. And again, you can stack flip-flops all day coming through that door, as long as you've been stacking ammo. Fatal funnel, that's another way of putting it, Lord Eagle. So it's a huge advantage as a homeowner. And this is something that, again, it's free. Takes a little bit of time, takes a little bit of thought. You understand what I'm saying? You want to make sure everything is blacked out. I'm not going to have the lamp on for the people when they finally get through the door. It's going to be dark, and they're going to be looking at an O light on the bottom of a tactical 12 gauge. So they're going to have a light in their face. They're not going to have anywhere to run. It is this way on purpose. Just saying. I'm going to add this stuff, but it is kind of controversial because I understand where some people come from when they're like, I'm not doing that. Okay. But I am going to add this because I think it does matter in 2024. I don't want my house to look too appealing. Right. So, and we're getting into houses being targeted specifically. Okay. Maybe you had a delivery person come in. I'm telling y'all, nothing against delivery people or service workers, but when people come into your home and they see things they're not supposed to see, there is a chance that they're going to try and come back and take what they want to take. I'm not saying that they're all bad or anything, or that they're going to do this and they're going to tell the wrong person, oh my God, I saw these people are stacking silver to the moon. I saw them. They must have had 500 silver bullion stacked up. You know what? This kind of stuff. Just one glance, they see this, they do this. A week later, somebody's kicking your door in trying to get to it. Okay. I'm telling you. You don't want the house to look too appealing on the outside. I'm not saying you got to live like freaking trash, son. I'm not saying that whatsoever. You can have a nice house. But what was the name? What was the Home Alone movie? I can't remember their last name right off. But you don't want your house to appeal like that. You don't want bad guys to pull up and say, oh my God, that house looks immaculate. I know there's stuff inside that house right there. We're coming back. You know what I mean? It's almost like the Greyman theory. In a crowd, you don't want to stand out. McAllister, thank you, Rebecca. McAllister. I don't know how I didn't know that. I'm made to watch that movie 20 times a year. Thank you, Rebecca. So, the Greyman theory, in a crowd, you don't want to stand out. You don't want to wear outlandish bright colors. You want to wear, subtle colors, stuff that blends in. You don't want to wear anything with the logo that's going to attract people's eyeballs and attention. You don't want to make direct eye contact or anything. You just want to be in the crowd till you get through the crowd, right? That's the Greyman theory, summarized in 15 seconds. You want your house to be the same way. You don't want it to stand out, especially standing out as a house where somebody has a lot of money. Because in times that are desperate, times under martial law where looting is taking place, I mean, ask yourself, think about this for a second, folks. Think about it. Put yourself in a looter's position. You know, take your work boots off for a second and slide your feet into some Old Navy sandals that you stole off the rack. Right? Throw you a Kamala Harris t-shirt on for a second. Try and think about it from the other side of the room here. I know it's hard. It makes you feel really dumb, but still, think about it like this. Am I going to try to loot a house that looks normal? Everyday normal, like nothing is standing out, nothing is giving me vibes. There's not a $200,000 car in the driveway. Nothing is giving off vibes that these people have any kind of money, right? Or am I going to go to a ritzy looking house where they got 3 Mercedes Benz in the parking lot, out in the driveway? They've got their grass cut in certain patterns. They got a huge water fountain outside. I mean, the place looks immaculate, right? Which place are you going to try and loot? These these people, they're not very bright, but even when they're going through the cities, they skip the rundown shops. They're not trying to loot those places. Those places are no value to them. They're hitting upscale stores because they want the valuable merchandise. So you don't want your house to stand out in such a way that it's going to draw these flip-floppers in, okay? Flags. This is where it gets interesting and controversial. Because I see both sides of it. I really do. On one hand, people will say, don't fly Trump flag because you might be targeted. Don't fly a MAGA flag. You might be targeted. I've actually seen people leave comments, don't fly a U.S. American flag. You might be targeted. But then I've heard comments where people are like, I'm going to fly whatever I want to fly. I'll fly the freaking U.S. flag, the Tea Party flag, whatever. Don't tread on me, son. So I get both sides of the argument, right? Black flag, there you go, J954. But the deal is, we have to understand. I get it. If you're flying the flags, I totally get it. It's it's your right. It's your right to do it. It's your home. But understand, if you're flying certain flags, you can be targeted by certain people. And maybe they're trying to do damage to the house at that point. Maybe they're not even trying to loot. Maybe they're going through looking for houses to loot and they see a MAGA flag and they're like, nah, we got to do something to this house right here. This is how the other side thinks. Okay. So, I would always encourage people, if, as long as you want to, 6-shooter, what's going on, brother? I would always encourage people to fly the American flag. Do not allow them to take that away from you. I mean, that's crazy. That's communism 101. Don't let them do that. But other flags, the Israel flag, for example, or the Trump flag, or whatever, whatever you happen to stand for and believe. Understand that can attract eyeballs from the wrong people. Again, somebody may Grubhub, or I guess Grubhub's still a thing, or whatever, DoorDash. They may deliver food to your house and they may see a Trump flag and it may piss them off. Nice truck, by the way, 6-shooter. And bike, right? And they may go back and they may be talking to their friends and they're like, yeah, we're going to go hit this place. You know what I'm saying? So just understand that is a reality. And that's something that you have to take into consideration. So, and it's no different than putting the stuff on your vehicle or you know how it is. If you're going to wear a Gaston flag T-shirt to a public event, right? Good for you. I think that's fantastic. That's your right. But you might have a couple skinnies come up to you and say, "We don't like your T-shirt," and then you're going to have to be confrontational. As long as you're willing to confront these people and call them out for what they are, hey man, wear the shirt. But just understand certain situations, people are going to look at you and eye roll you and stuff like this. Especially if you go into a Starbucks or something. Karen, you're very, very welcome. Um, and finally, the last thing I have, I told you to keep an eye on Germany, okay, because they just went, their far right, their nationalist party just took over. They just won the election there. That hasn't happened since World War II. The last time they were far right and nationalist, Hitler was in charge. So I said, keep an eye on them, see what they're doing. Let's see what they're doing. So they are already deporting people that aren't supposed to be there back to the Middle East. Uh, People that are, for example, pro-Palestinian, they've been protesting. They're just flying them back to Palestine. They're doing that, and they are demanding from the government, we're not funding the Ukrainian war anymore. And NATO's kind of pissed off about that. But what can they do? Uh, the nationalists have the government at this point. So they're saying, we don't want to fund the Ukrainian war any longer. There need to be peace talks, or you need to stay out of our pockets and let somebody else pay for it. And it's very interesting because Donald Trump, for you Trump supporters out there, he has also made the statement where he is threatening to cut all support, financial support to Ukraine, and just stay completely out of that conflict if he goes back into office. So NATO is in panic mode, okay, because not only is NATO losing the proxy war, for though I don't have the map available, sorry guys, Ukraine took a swatch of land, which hasn't happened since World War II, against Russia, and they celebrated this for about a week. And then they realized, well, Russia's down here in the Donbass, and they're taking over land at a ratio of 10-1. Like they're annihilating Ukraine at this point. And Zelensky is asking for more aid, more weapons. He's asking for permission to use long range missiles, things like this. He wants more tanks. He wants more, F-16s, I think they are. And Germany is cutting him off completely, is what's happening. So the other biggest supporter, the United States, financially, I'm saying, if Trump gets into office, is going to be cutting him off. Like he's going to be running out of money really soon. Um, so this is going to play heavily into the election. They say that there's election interference and Russia's been meddling or whatever, but it's not like, and that's probably true. I'm not giving Russia a free pass. They probably are, but I guarantee you NATO is too, because NATO does not want Donald Trump as president. Promise you, because he's going to be pulling funding from a lot of things. Um, and oh my goodness, I was going to let you guys know about something else. Elon Musk. Donald Trump made the statement where he is going to have, if he gets into the White House, the 3-letter agencies and all of the over budgeting and the spending and all of this stuff that's taking place, all these little pet projects. And Elon Musk has already agreed to do this as well. He's going to put Elon Musk in charge of investigating all of that and basically reporting back to him and saying, what 3-letter agencies do we actually need? Which ones make financial sense? Which ones do we need to cut out? Where's the money being wasted? And Elon Musk, uh, he's going to come back and it's going to be slim pickings. I mean, he's going to cut the budget down to almost nothing, I think. So these people, and I mean NATO and I mean globalists, they do not want Donald Trump in the White House. This guy needs to be very, very careful moving forward. He really, really does. For those that have been asking about the debate, it is September the 10th. I cannot remember what time. It's in the evening, but I don't know the exact time. Had several people ask that yesterday. It is September the 10th, and it is on ABC, Disney Plus, Hulu, and I'm sure there will be a live stream of it here on YouTube as well. Audit time. Yeah, that's the best way to put it, Lord Eagle. Audit time. And the comments that came in, the videos on YouTube of him saying this, putting Elon Musk in charge and stuff. All of these comments started posting saying this needs to happen once a year. This is long overdue. Once a year, we need to find out where the money is being wasted. And they're going to find it out. If he gets into the White House, Elon Musk, he better have a huge security team on him because they're going to find it out. I think this is one of the main reasons they do not want Trump in there, because they have a lot of money, a lot of our money moving around under desks, if you know what I'm saying, below board and being wasted and being put. Me personally, I think a lot of it is being fed to the CCP and people that are compromised by the CCP as well. If that's the case, we're going to find it out if Trump wins this election. So I don't know. But anyway, thank y'all for all of the comments on the home defense. And for the replay crowd, please leave comments. Give people advice on home defense and stuff like this, because none of us know it all. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody being here. Y'all take care and God bless.